Welcome, friends, to the animation experience at Conservation Station. Since the 1930s, Disney animators have put their pencils to paper in service of the idea that the greatest inspiration often comes from the magic of nature. Walt Disney himself understood the importance of spending time around animals, studying their behavior and personalities in order to create realistic characters and dynamic storylines. This meeting of the human and animal worlds sparked a legacy of storytelling that has shaped our relationship with animals and conservation forever. Today, we invite you to become a part of that legacy as our own Disney artists help you learn to sketch characters inspired by the very animals found here at Disney's Animal Kingdom. Get your pencils ready, because here comes our animation artist now.
Well, good morning, everybody. How are y'all doing today? Y'all having fun? Yeah, it is so great to see everybody. Thank you all so much for being here. Well, my name is Heather. We're going to be drawing together today for about 30 minutes. So before we get started, I'd just like to make sure we have paper, pencil, what you picked up on your way in. Clipboards for behind your seat, which reminds me, if you don't mind, we'll place those back in the back of the seat so they'll be ready for our next crew coming in behind us. Another couple of quick things too as well. When we exit today, we're going to head to the left-hand side, following the lovely wall of animals through that tunnel. And then if you need to go to the restroom, that will be in that direction. So we're celebrating the 50th anniversary here at Walt Disney World. Y'all been to Magic Kingdom already? Seen all of our 50th stuff? Pretty exciting, right? What better way to celebrate our 50th than our Fab 5 characters? You got Mickey, Goofy, Pluto, Minnie, and Donald, right? There he is. He's gone through all kinds of changes. One of the most prolific characters. There's been over 150 shorts and featurettes. So, y'all ready? Yeah? Let's draw. All right, so now we have a circle on our paper. And we have a vertical guideline, horizontal line. These are going to help you place the eyes, nose, and mouth on the character. And you'll see this for any character that you draw. And we've already gotten you halfway there, though. Sound fun? Yeah, all right. So let's look at that vertical guideline. That's the middle of his face. We're going to start with the top part of the bill. And what better way to start? Let's go right over here at the side of his beak, right there at the end of that line. And then I'm going to go ahead and start going up just a little bit above the top of that line, and we're going to fall right back down. We're going to create this kind of hill kind of shape here. And I like to sketch things in. You notice I'm kind of going very light at first. So if I need to adjust the line, it actually will just make it a little bit easier to fix it if you need to fix it too as well. If you need to hold your pencil kind of near the end, you can do that too as well. It's kind of a nice little trick there too as well if you need it. And once we kind of hit about the middle, we're going to come right back up. We're going to create this little hill, going over to the vertical guideline. If you need a little pause for just a second there before we go all the way back down for the top of that beak there. And then we're going to go right back in to that guideline. So we're going to kind of curl it right back up. And then we're going to come right back around. And you're going to hit kind of about where the side of that blue line is there too. That'll be kind of where his cheeks are going to be. So they have the little bumpy edges of their bill, which helps them filter food from the water. And it's usually they can mechanically digest their food. So they have this like little gizzard that's kind of like this gravel-like material that kind of helps them chop up their food a little bit too as well. One thing that is not good for them is bread. So usually like the ducks kind of find their food on their own too as well. So once we go back in, we're going to darken in our lines. I like to just kind of trace over. If you need to kind of touch it up a little bit, kind of get that nice little curve. I think I hear Donald. We're going to bring this around. And then we're going to go ahead and place in some eyes. So basically those eyes kind of look like a nice little egg kind of shape. So right here, kind of in that groove, I'm going to kind of curve up. Now, where do we curve up? We can go ahead and go up below this top of the circle, come down just a little bit more. And then we can kind of find roughly about where the top part of the eyes are going to be. And that way we know we can go all the way up. You're going to round it off, and you're just going to pretty much fall right back down into that bill, kind of creating that nice dinosaur kind of egg kind of shape there. He was initially animated by Art Babbitt and Dick Humer. We'll go ahead and darken in the top part of the eye too. I like to give it a little bit, kind of a nice little eyelid kind of look to him as well. We're not done yet because we got to add in another eye too as well. And we're going to go over here on the right side of that vertical guideline. I'm going to curve it up, straight up to that guideline, and then we're just going to fall right back down. And kind of keep that curve of the circle as we come down and bring it into the top of that bill. Bringing that together. And Donald actually does have a little bit of a temper when things don't go his way, but he does have a heart of gold and willing to help out his other friends, especially like Daisy Duck, his girlfriend he met, introduced in 1937 in a film called Don Donald. And actually her original name was Donna Duck. Of course, she became Daisy Duck, too. Kind of mentioned Daisy, too, as well. I felt like she didn't get recognized enough. So we'll just go back in. We'll darken in our ovals there. Just doing the best you can, kind of getting those nice round shapes there. And I think it was a little practice, too, as well. Those light lines in there kind of hide him behind and can fade to the back. And make it look like he's been moving a little bit on your paper, which, waterfalls tend to do too as well. So we're going to go ahead and add in his pupils, and what we're going to do, we're going to come up maybe a little over halfway. So I'm going to draw in an oval there for his pupils. And then I'm just going to go ahead and sketch it down and let it touch right back where his bill is. A little bit darker. And then we're going to come over here on this side. We'll take the bottom of the bill here. We're going to curve it up. We're going to come up, and we're going to fall right back down and just kind of let it fall right on in. So, does anybody know when his birthday is by any chance? It's coming up in some later months. Birthday's in 1934, so I'll give you the year, too, as well. Again, Don Donald is where he met his girlfriend in 1937. But June 9th. Now, waterfalls actually tend to have crisp, vivid day vision, but kind of poorer night vision. So we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to shade in those pupils. If you want to add a highlight, you can, but I'm just going to run my pencil through, and if it goes outside the lines, it's okay. Now these pencils go home with you, so you can actually shade later on if you want to. So just kind of run my pencil through. Gotta keep it nice and simple. All right, so now what we want to do, we're going to go ahead and add in his bill kind of coming out too a little bit. And so if you look kind of where the bottom of that circle is, if you want to draw a light line kind of going out from side to side, you can. It's very, very light. This might kind of help with his bill. And then kind of about even kind of with the end of that blue line too as well. So you got the end of the blue line. You can create a nice little box right here if you like. To kind of help you with the bill. And so for his, for the bill, we're going to kind of curve it up through the bottom of that circle. So I'm just going to kind of get this nice little rainbow curve going up through the bottom of the circle from side to side. If it goes outside that side of that circle, it's okay. It does kind of curve down a little bit, just like a bill of a baseball cap, too, as well. If you got one of those on, you can kind of use that as inspiration. We'll curve down just a tiny bit, and we're going to hook it right back around, kind of about where that straight line is, or kind of where the end of that blue line is, where we come right back up. We got that nice little hook. And we got the same thing on this side too as well. We're going to give it a round kind of about even with the end of that blue line. We're going to give it a little hook. Coming back in. But we want to connect that together. So we want to add in some dimples. So we are drawing Donald pretty happy. I know most of the time, he's got a little bit of that temper too as well. But right, if you go up above this guideline, you're going to draw a little curved line for the dimple. And the same thing on the right side. I'm just going to draw a little curved line right there about where the side of that circle is. So now we know where that's going to be, and we know where the bottom part of the bill is. We're just going to connect that together. But I'm going to draw this curved line, and we call these lines S-curves in animation. So we'll toss out a little bit of some animation terms for you as well, if you're wanting to pursue that. And then over on the right side, I'm just going to kind of come in and just kind of draw a little curved line right back over to the top part of that bill. All right, so once we kind of get that in there, we still have a gap between the top part of his bill and the bottom part right here. So what we're going to do, we're just going to go ahead and pull this around, or the bottom part of the top part of the bill. And then we're going to go over here on the right side, kind of pull this in too as well. All right, so we have another little curve too as well. We're going to stay in between that blue line and this curve. And just draw just a tiny curve. It's going to stay inside the circle, and it's not going to touch the blue lines over there. Think of it as playing kind of Operation a little bit. You remember that game? All right, how you doing down there near the blue shirt there? Oh boy, you doing good? Can I see your drawing? I see. I bet you got a wonderful duck too. Ducks do fly. Of course, Donald Duck is more of a human character but we love him just the way he is. So we want to go in next. We're going to go ahead and add in his bottom of his bill, because you're probably wondering that bottom line. Yeah, that's what we're going to go for. We're going to think of a flower pot kind of shape. Kind of go try to make sure we can see that all good. All right, so what we're going to do. We're going to kind of come in from this line. You can draw through the shape, and don't be afraid to kind of pull those lines in there. When you get home, if you're an ink and paint artist, you can color that nice yellow orangey color that his bills are. And then we're just going to go straight in. We're going to go toward this guideline right here at the bottom. Actually, you can kind of stop kind of about even with that little vertical guideline before we start to kind of slide down into that bottom line. Kind of give that nice little curve here. And then we're going to come right back up on the right side. Now you can stop it right here in the middle and come back over here to the side of his bill and go straight down. Again, you can kind of get that nice little kind of almost flower pot kind of shape. Pull this around and kind of give it a nice rounded edge there too. And again, sketch it in first too as well. I see a lot of animators in the very beginning, they'll put all these nice lines that go in and around the drawings, these blue lines on these drawings up above your head. But we see the cleaned up versions. We see where the cleanup artist came in. We see where the ink and paint artist came in and color it most of the time. Now what we're going to do over here on this side, we're going to do the inside of his bill. This time you can start kind of about where the dimple is, roughly, kind of in that area, or kind of about where the side of his eye is before we slide down. And it's going to go right on in. And we're going to come a little bit closer to the other side, so we're going to go across that vertical guideline. You're doing good. Singing the song of your people out there. And then we're going to come right back up to the right-hand side. Now we have the bottom of his bill too as well. Many ducks are actually very social, and they walk in large groups too as well. Several species will actually kind of migrate a lot, and they'll kind of stop. They will stopovers too as well before they fly off into the next area. We have a place back home where I'm from too as well, Wheeler Wildlife Refuge, where they kind of have that little stopping ground too as well. This is kind of fun with fur waterfowls. And then we're going to go ahead and add in a little tongue. We're going to draw a letter B next, right here. And kind of about where the bottom of this circle is, we'll go up to the bill and start there. And then we're going to bring this down into that vertical guideline. So yes, we definitely need Donald to talk, right? I wish I did a good Donald voice for you, but I'll just go, oh boy. And then it's going to come right back over here on the right side. Just make that letter B shape too as well. How you doing, buddy? Doing good down there? How's sister doing? You got this. I got you. Now we want a cheekbone. We're going to start right here above the bill. We're going to go ahead and give a little curved line coming just a little bit above that. Again, keep Donald as happy as possible. Does anybody know his nephews' names? Yeah, you guys know. And Daisy has 3 nieces too. Might as well talk about her too. You know her names? Or their names? Daisy's nieces. Think about the months of the year. April, May, and June. Yeah. Now we need to give them some emotion, some expression. And how do we do that? We add in a human characteristic on a duck, and that's some eyebrows. So we start inside that circle. We're going to come up just a little bit above the top of that circle before we fall right back down. And you can actually kind of stop it kind of on that guideline if you want. Because I like to kind of keep it a little bit shorter on the inside of the eyebrow. Usually that holds true for eyebrows anyway. And then we'll come over here on this side. We'll start we can start with that guideline just to make it easy for ourselves. We'll go a little bit above that guideline. We're going to fall right back down. And then just kind of pull it right back in. This guy is voiced by the great Clarence Nash, or Nucky Nash. Really want to see a cool thing of him doing the voice. If anybody's seen the Reluctant Dragon DVD set or video, go and check it out. And they're kind of touring the studio, but then they kind of come across Clarence Nash showing how he does that great, wonderful duck voice. All right, so we're going to go ahead and add in a little bit of a hairstyle or feather style for our duck here. So I'm going to go right here to the left of the circle. I'm going to fan out some feathers this way too as well. And then we're going to fan out some feathers kind of going down too as well. So ducks are usually well adapted to the water actually. And they're covered in a waterproof substance, so it won't look like they're wet to us. So they won't have that wet look. They'll keep their feathers nice and dry. And then once you get that feather in there, we can trace over the rest of the circle. He doesn't have as many feathers as to say like Scrooge McDuck or so. And then over here on the right side, you want to add in a little bit of some feathers on this side. You can kind of play around with that however you want to. If you want to kind of add in some curving up and some curving down. Like he's just like, what his feathers out? Are you thinking of Donald? He's like, ah, you know how he is. And then we're going to trace over the side of that circle too, right there on the side. And then he's also got a few feathers kind of sticking up too as well up here at the top. So I'm going to go ahead and add that in. Yeah, does it go, you see that vertical guide? Does it go all the way up to that vertical guideline? I'm going to have some feathers kind of go down a little bit, maybe another one kind of falling down. And then we need to add in something on Donald. What do you think he needs? A sailor or a cap, right? So you definitely need that on there too as well. Donald was actually served in the military. His middle name was on his military papers. Does anybody know the middle name? Fauntleroy. He was in the Army too as well. He was honorably discharged too from the Army, and on his 50th anniversary in 1984. So we're going to go ahead and come up here for the band of his cap. I'm just going to start just kind of from the inside of his eyebrow. And then I'm going to stop right the middle part, just kind of a little bit in from the end of that vertical guideline. And then we're going to stop over here on the left-hand side. So we're just going to kind of create this nice little band, a little curve right there on top of his hat. I'm going to actually move my little band over a little bit. So I'm going to change up that line a little bit too as well. So you can too, if you need to. Now, what we're going to go ahead and do, we're going to go up here from the back behind, we're still staying above the eyebrow. We're going to curve it up like we're going toward the top blue line. So we're going to kind of create this little hook. And again, if you're drawing long strokes like this, if you need to kind of do a couple of little trial and error runs at first, you can certainly do that. And then we're going to pull this right on in, like we're going toward the band of his hat. So it kind of looks like maybe a bean, a jelly bean, or lima bean, or whatever bean you like too as well for that shape. And you can see I'm just going to go over the lines you like the best and make that darker. And I'm going to have the rest of that kind of a little bit lighter kind of fade through the background. And then over here on the side, I'm going to actually kind of curve it and kind of give that little wrinkle in there. And it's going to come out, go away from the hat, and come right back in toward the eyebrow almost. Get that nice, pretty blue hat that he has. When you get home, you can definitely be your own ink and paint artist like the lovely Mary Blair. The picture's over there on the right side of the room. If you're wondering who those lovely people are over there too as well. We don't have a picture of Art Babbitt for you. It was really animated Donna there. So we're going to go ahead and add in that band. It's going to come from the back of his hat too as well. And we're pretty much almost done with Donald. So pretty much what we're going to do, we're going to think of a big W too. So he was in the wise little hen, right? So he's very wise, of course. Part of the Silly Symphonies. I'm going to bring this down. I won't make it too long, but it's going to come up and come back down. Like we're going to make a W or an upside down letter M for the boss, Mickey Mouse. Of course, Donald won't like hearing that. Again, he is the most prolific character. It's been about 150 shorts, so I can see why they wanted to give him the role of the Sorcerer's Apprentice before Mickey Mouse too, at the time. But actually, Dopey was first in line before that. And I'm just going to shade it in the back of his little tassel there too as well. Just kind of bring that alight. Again, you'll wait till you get home. It's not a whole lot to shade for Donald. I'm going to kind of go back in, touch up some of those lines if it starts to get lost in the shading. And with that, my friends, together as a team, we just completed Donald Duck. So congratulations, we got to sign our artwork. Yay! And we got to date it too as well. It is February. Oh, I should know today's date. Today's date is very easy. 2/2/2. 2/2. Same backwards as it is forwards. And I believe it's also upside down too. It's the same thing too as well. So kind of a cool date today. Maybe the first time you're drawing. Awesome, right? So definitely sign it, date it. If you need to take another quick look with it too as well. Take a picture before he does leave the silver screen, which is here now. But Walt Disney had an eliminating relationship with the National Wildlife Federation. So actually, what we're going to do, I'm going to actually have you take a look really quick and learn a little bit about our heritage here at Disney's Animal Kingdom. So let's go ahead and share in the inspiration right now. Let's take a look.
Animals have always been at the heart of the Walt Disney Company. As Walt himself once said, I hope we never lose sight of one thing, that it was all started by a mouse. Although Mickey was one of the first characters to draw inspiration from the animal world, soon many more would follow. And the connection didn't stop there. Eventually, Walt's passion for nature led to a documentary series known as The True Life Adventures, exploring wildlife stories from the great outdoors. This legacy of environmental storytelling continues through the Disney nature films. Walt Disney was a true pioneer for conservation. In that spirit, as a demonstration of our company's continual commitment to protecting wildlife and wild places, the Disney Conservation Fund was founded in 1995. Its mission? To save wildlife for future generations by providing grants to conservation organizations around the world. And today, Disney's Animal Kingdom theme park is the place where the magic of nature comes to life every day for our guests to enjoy. Dedicated to showcasing amazing animals and the places they call home. This park creates experiences that inspire the protection of our precious planet. Here, the future of animals and their stories are always a new adventure, growing and waiting to be explored.
All right, so today Walt Disney was inspired by animals. I personally got inspired too as well when I attended Auburn University about over 20 years ago. So I saw this really cool eagle fly over the field. And I thought it was really exciting, but through my experiences here at Animal Kingdom, I wanted to learn more about them. So I did my own research and found out we had like rehab centers too on campus. So we can help out these animals, and you can help them out all across the country. And working with the U.S., they're all working with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Services. And you'll find out so many people all across the country that's helping out too as well. So find your inspiration, find your animal that you love, whether it's here at Animal Kingdom or back home, and find ways to help them too as well. And thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. These all go in the refrigerators when you go home. Just a reminder, we're going to head to the left-hand side too as well. So thank you so much for your time. Bye guys. Have a good one.
Thank you all for joining us in the animation experience at Conservation Station. Please gather your personal belongings before exiting, and remember to take your artwork with you. We hope you enjoy the rest of your visit at Rafiki's Planet Ranch and the rest of your adventure here at Disney's Animal Kingdom. Goodbye.